history major. All right. My name's Steve Logan. I'm the high school football coach at South Hills. I've been there 14 years. This will be my 15th year coming up. Being honest, when I tell you that when I first started there, I just hoping not to get fired. I've seen a lot of good coaches get fired. And that was my goal, not to get fired. And I'm just very fortunate to be in a good place. The last 3 or 4 weeks, I've been reading every stinking article I could find on anybody that's been coaching on building programs and stuff. That when I was given the topic, and I was going all over the place, reading them, and it's just great stuff, but it's not really all me. So I said, I'm just going to tell you guys what I've done, my journey, all right? And I do think there's some things in here that'll help you, okay? Talk about a couple other things. I'm a board member of a small little church that we just planted a couple years ago, and I'm not super involved, but I'm kind of a little bit involved. And I was at a meeting last night on church growth, which was all about businesses growing, programs growing, anything. And so the whole topic was on the sigmoid curve. I don't know if you ever heard of that, the S curve. And spent thinking 2 hours with it, and I walked away saying what it means is that every now and then you got to have a shot in the arm. You got to change things. Something has to happen because things have a natural. And I'll just kind of like introduce that while James was passing stuff out. And this is like big in business, huge in business and churches trying to grow, develop programs. And what they talk about is that institutions and organizations, all of them, even marriages and families, go through this pattern. And this is these guys looking back and then just asking questions, and they see these patterns. And so let's just say you got a program and you start, and you got all these ideas, and excited start, but usually our ideas are real high, we're real excited and everything. There's usually a down swing where things all of a sudden, aren't going as planned. It's just the way the world is. I'm a history major. I did real well in history. I didn't want to coach, to be honest. Guys, I coached so I could get hired to teach history. All right, I was a pretty good high school player. I wasn't, all everything. I was a pretty good small college football player, but I wasn't all everything. I liked it. I loved it. I liked playing it. I wanted to teach, and I had to coach to get hired. So it just seemed to come pretty easy. I liked it. I've been with it. So it wasn't something I planned, but I know from just different things that there's a lot of truth in here. So you hit this downtime, and there's a point where you got to make a decision. You stick with it, and if you stick with it, and you have your plan, and we'll talk about kind of what my plan and what I kind of did, and then things start to go well. And they'll go, and they'll go, and they'll go, and then they'll peak, and they'll go back down. And what tends to happen is people tend to make their new decisions and stuff somewhere over here after it's peaked. They just let it ride, and it's great, and it's going, and they're hanging in, and they're loving it, right? Let's just keep this thing going, and it's going and going and going, and it's going to peak. And then it's going to start to go down. We got to do something. That's the toughest time. It's the toughest time to get a shot in the arm because momentum's going against you. What all these guys in corporations are saying, and in churches are saying about church growth is while you're in what they call the sweet time, okay? Well, things are going up. During that sweet time, there comes a point where you're going to have to create something, do something, find some way to give it a shot in the arm. All right, because that's when everyone's got buy-in. They're with you. You got the support. And then you do that, and it's still good, and then it starts over again. It tends to always happen. It won't be quite as good as you thought. You got to get people to get on board. It'll go down a little bit, and then it'll start going back up, and it'll just keep repeating itself. And you hit a sweet spot, and then you're going to have to give it a shot in the arm. And that's kind of the life of organizations, whether corporations, churches, marriages, football programs. Everything. It's not exactly like that, but there's some sort of pattern like that. That's 2 hours and 2 minutes, but I really think it's something to keep in the back of our heads. Is that put the shot in the arm when things are going well, when you got people on your side. They're not all going to be there. The number one thing you can learn from history, and I'm convinced of this, people are a mess. We could all talk about cause and effect and money, what people are a mess. You're a mess, I'm a mess. It's not okay. I don't believe in those guys. I'm not okay, you're not okay. No, we're all a mess. You can see that my master's is in theology. So when I tell you I was not going to be a football coach, I was not going to be a football coach. I was a history major at California Lutheran College, right? We had a real good little football program, so I had a lot of fun, right? And that changed me. I had a lot of fun in high school, and I played under two very different coaches. And I think both styles are great. I don't think there is a style. My style sure as heck ain't the best. You're going to find out. You're going to disagree with me probably on a number of things. What it comes down to, and I'm going to come back to this, is let's really get it nailed down. Do smart things the right way with great effort. What else is there? You know, there's no magic. Do smart things the right way with great effort. You can control that. I can control that. We can't control all the other stuff, so we can't stress out too much. But there are things that have an impact, and that's what I'm kind of going to talk about here. And the first one, and I'm kind of excited, and I prayed about this, and I get worried because some of you guys may or may not be deeply religious, or I don't know, whatever terms you want to say, but I'm saying right now that I think that the most underdone thing, you know, most football coaches' lives, when they're under pressure, is they don't pray for their team. You know, and I'm not talking about just sitting there going, our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, all that stuff. I'm talking about pray for your team, pray for your marriage. I'm divorced. I didn't pray for my marriage. I had a wife, a believer, I thought I was a believer. You know the divorce rates for people who pray together one sentence out loud once a week is less than 0.5%. The divorce rate. People who go to church have no different divorce rate than the general population. Just because you're standing in a garage, don't make your car, you know, all those sayings. The people who pray one sentence out loud together, a couple, at least once a week, less than 0.5% of divorce rate. You can go to George Barna, you go to all sorts of groups. Those are facts, right? And I really, really believe that somewhere in here that this has been helpful. I pray, Lord, bring the players you want out. Put together the players you want in this team. And I'm just telling you my story because, you know, you can get all this. This is what Steve Bogan has done. And I didn't always do it right, and I'm not the best model that walked the earth. I'm not talking about the model of a godly man, all that stuff like that. I'm trying. I'm a mess, all right? If you ever want to read something about where we are, read Martin Luther's introduction to his lectures on Romans. And you probably have a hard time finding it, but that guy nailed it. And I'm not trying to do Catholic, Protestant. I taught religion in a Catholic school for 3 years. I taught comparative religion at St. Francis for 3 years, and I wasn't Catholic. I have a heart. I think we're one big army with lots of divisions. One of my favorite authors is a guy named Peter Kreeft at Boston College. You know, I just want to sort of do some covering my rear. He said the Reformation was started by a Catholic scholar using a Catholic doctrine, reviving a Catholic doctrine using a Catholic book. And he said the scholar was an Augustinian monk named Martin Luther. The doctrine was justification by faith. Go read St. Augustine. And the book was the Bible. And he's right on all of them. And he's a very big bridge. If you want the Lutheran Church and the Catholic Church have issued joint statements. So, you know, we're not all that far apart. We have some differences. Let's not. I'm going to do a little demo up here. I'll show you. We got to know what our big rocks are. So, but I pray for my team. We'll put together staff. Have I had troubles on my staff? Yeah. Did all the guys agree with me? No. Some guys left? Yeah. And some guys stayed? Yeah. I don't know how it all works, but I do know there's a big guy who's behind us. All right? And one of the passages I focus on is down there, James 4:2. You want something, but you don't get it. You do not have because you do not ask God. How many times we ask God? Now we don't always. Well, I'm not talking. But now we go. You can't just stay there because then it's almost like it's magic and candy. Okay, God, I asked. You're supposed to give it to me. Then you go to James. You follow up. James goes on. When you ask, you do not receive because you ask with wrong motives, that you may spend what you get on your pleasures. And for me, that told me a lot about how I was to pray about my team. I have to check my motives. We lost the CIF championship at West Covina High School. God bless Mike Majori. And afterwards, I really felt like the Lord spoke to my heart and said, man, this is Mike's year. You know, and like somehow this was part of it. And I don't know where free will, sovereignty, and I just know they're all true. I really believe in holding opposites in tension. And but that doesn't change the fact that I was praying for them. I was praying for their team. I was praying for every team. I don't want injuries. I don't want guys getting hurt. But you know what? Let's get honest. If if we sat there and just said, oh Lord, just your will tonight, I don't want to impose upon you. He's going to be up there going, you lying little piece of crap. I know exactly what's in your heart. You want to win this game, because otherwise you wouldn't be in this business. All right? So be honest. Yeah, Lord, we want to win. We do. At the same time, I'm wise enough to know that I know that what you want is more important than what I want. And so I'm going to take what you have, and I'll be honest. And I'm going to ask. So we ask. And a song is out there. It's called Generous Man. That hit me. This is almost spooky because there's a guy who wrote this song, and I heard it. It's a live worship song, and I heard this guy introducing me before he sang it. And he's in a McDonald's with his kid, and a Harley Davidson drives by. His little kid's grabbing his daddy's leg. Hey, Daddy, can I have a Harley? Yeah. We'll get you a Harley someday. And while he's waiting in line, he felt like the Lord impressed on his mind. I don't know how you see other. I really believe he speaks to us more than we're willing to listen. He told him, I want you to be like your son. You're a good dad. I'm a much better dad than you are. You're a good dad, and you try to give yourself what's best. I'm much better than you'll ever be. I want you to have his attitude. Ask. So before, and this song I heard like in 1990, I don't know, 98 or something like that. So I started saying, Lord, I want a Harley. And that was what I called the CI champion. I want a Harley, right? And then in 2000, we did win our first one that I've been involved with. And we've been on a pretty good roll. And the reason I bring the story partly is also my dog's named Harley. And my one dog got real sick, and I had to give him to my mom because he was on all these medicines. His name was Sarge. And Sarge lived to be 11 years old. He was a big old golden retriever. He lived 5 more years than they said he was supposed to live. Right? He was on all sorts of pills, and his average, he cost $1,000 a year. My mom picked out $11,000 for that dog. Right? And most of my parents said it's just nuts. And my mom, when we talk about rocks in a second, my mom one time she goes, that dog gave me more joy than any stinking car your dad ever bought. Whoa, that's a point. And Sarge was her buddy. He lived. Well, I wanted to get a dog for my other dog, Dakota, was my buddy. White lab, no lab. Dakota was psycho dog from hell. There was a dog. I had to get a slab around my pool because every day there was dirt in it. It was like the devil was telling him, go dig a hole right by the pool, shoot your butt at the pool, fill it up. Right? And anyway, so other guy I played with, our coach, who was doing lab rescues, the fireman, saw me at the dog pen. I was looking for a dog that needed a home, but I was I'm always looking for labs and Holdens with some sort of mix of their personalities. And he saw it and goes, oh, hey, I'm picking up a black lab tomorrow. It's going to the rescue. 2 owners that can't handle the dog. You love dogs. You can probably handle the dog. I'll bring it by. If you like it, keep it. So he brings his dog by, a little female black lab. She was 4 years old. And right away, she beat up Dakota. I said, I think she's going to make it. She went after her. I put food down for him to see what happened. He went after food. She's after him. He backed off. They played around. We're having a good time. He leaves. And before he leaves, so by the way, she needs to take pills. She's on meds. What? Well, part of the reason she won't stay is because she has seizures. I'm a coach. I'm teaching Harley over there. The parties and beginners and the dog have a buddy. And I just felt like, I would like this dog. Well, who's going to take this dog? I would take this dog. And most of the time, Golden's allowed to find a home. If she has seizures, although she has pills, if she's on a pill, they say she's usually pretty good. And her name's Molly. And I'll right away say Molly. Her name's Golden. I'm sorry. The dog's not going to be named Molly. Anyways, he leaves and everything, and I keep her. I'm like, I hope I'm doing the right thing here. And I look on the pills that she has, right? Medication or phenobarbital, right? She needs it. And this dog is. I look at the pill. The name says Harley. Harley. The other person changed her name. So for me, with all my relationship with the song Generous Man and the kids' heart, I got to keep this dog Harley. Dakota's now gone, and she's my dog. But I really emphasize pray. Very few coaches do it. They don't pray and really search their own heart. No one talks about the speck in someone else's eye, the plank in our own and stuff. I think if we have the right heart, I think God wants to bless us in ways, and it may not always be in wins, it may be in other things in our programs. But I would encourage you, I know this isn't a public school event, so I can do it. I don't grab my team out, we don't run every practice. I'm talking about you. I go on prayer walks, I pray for my team, I pray for my staff. But I think it's the best thing I've ever done than anything else here. Okay? That led me to my second thing I think every coach has to have, is you gotta have a philosophy. And that's nothing complicated, because you have one. If you look through it, philosophy means thinking hard about something. We all do it. I don't know if you heard the term paradigm, but you need to know the paradigms we operate from. If you want to know my view of success, you get a handout. Read through it, the man in the glass, whatever. I think those are good ways to see it. It's not about all wins and losses. One CEO, I remember talking about, they're saying, what's your reason for your success? It was good decisions. You got to make good decisions. Well, how do you make good decisions? Learn from your bad decisions. If you don't make decisions, there's nothing to learn from. And that's what you do, and you just keep moving on, and I think that's huge. But you got to know what you're about. Who are you? Where are you going? Where do you want to take this program? You got to figure that out. And is it about, I just want to get wins? We all want to get wins. I'm talking, is that the main thing? And at the same time, it's got to be out there, because that's what's getting us inspired. And so we play that field, we keep scoring for a reason. And I want to talk about some things that I felt that maybe happened that we did a little different. And these are just little nuggets of things that I bring up. I see things that are part of kind of my philosophy, because I really believe excitement is the whole key. Things are caught, not taught. They're caught. All right? And I spent my whole life trying to figure out how to be a great teacher. And it just comes down to, man, it's caught. Have energy. It rubs off. And if you don't have it every day, have someone else does. I got James. What's Coach James walked out, right? James, I tell you, the guy's the walking human body of energy. The guy, Tom Peterson, before that. When Tommy left, Tommy had some other issues that he couldn't hang into the field. We really couldn't bring him back. But just tons of energy. You gotta have, it's gotta be somebody. My title's vegetable soup. Carrot soup sucks. All right? There's many ingredients. Any coach who thinks he's it is an idiot. Also, my notes. I am blessed, and you know that. You got to get guys around you. And if you're young, kind of keep that in mind. There is no one ingredient. And it takes lots of things. It takes great principle, great atmosphere. Also, I'm at a school that has most all these ingredients. I'm still complaining. Hey, I'm going to complain to the day I die. Probably a little bit. But I'm working at it, getting better. We got lots of good ingredients where I'm at. And so I have a better shot at some things than some of you guys have. I see some of you guys that I know I've got a lot better shot than you do. Yeah, our shot's not going to be as good anymore. We're really getting moved. We're going to be the smallest team in our division. We were, I think, the second or third smallest in the division the last time. It's not always about size, but numbers are numbers. It's just the way it is. But there's still going to be opportunities. Sometimes you don't realize that maybe a move is better. It's a shot in the arm for us. Why looking at it, the next part of the S-curve, okay? You got to focus on that and use that somehow to create momentum. And so find a way to do that. Just a couple things down there. We all have a philosophy. It may be well thought out, or it may be very sloppy. We have one. And if you haven't thought about it, you're just probably a little sloppy. Guess what? Kids pick it up. If you don't know where you're going, you'll get there. You'll get nowhere. Kids pick it up. People rally around two things in this world. You ever notice the Indian grows? Two things. They rally around people, and they rally around ideas. That's what they do. And they're both important. And you got to assess yourself. You know what? I'm not be the Mr. Super Dynamic personality, and these guys are going to rally behind me general, but you know what? I'm very bright. Use that, right? Find out what it is in your personality, your makeup that God's given you that is a gift, and accentuate that, and keep that idea thing, because you got to have ideas. And they work together. So, you know what? I'm very cerebral. I have a coach who's coached line for a year. Very bright guy, all right? He teaches classical literature, AP English. His thing is, he's an intellectual. He has ideas. Kids think he's smart. His ideas are going to be good. So he uses that to then bolster his personality. And then they feed on each other. It sort of becomes a good vicious cycle. And so you got to get one of them going. You or the ideas, and then it helps the other one. And you keep going, because all the studies have shown that in businesses and everything. Why do they pay these CEOs sometimes outrageous amounts of money? They know they don't have some 5-step plan, that they could get the 5-step plan. There's something there. And find out what it is, and accentuate that, lift it up, and that'll help the ideas, or that'll help the personality, and focus on those. And it's in there, and your idea is your philosophy. And it's real easy to give them the best philosophy in the world. The only thing we ask you guys is you bust your butt. We have 3, you'll see later on. Play hard, play smart, play together. End of story. End of the game, guys. We sit down Saturday morning. Did we play hard? First thing we ask. We're talking about every time, all the time, where guys flying the ball. We're going to put a little clip of our highlights in. I hope you'll get a sense that sometimes we're trying to get guys to play hard. All right? Did you play smart? Now, smart goes more than just game night. Did we practice smart? Did we plan smart? That's huge. Schemes are important. You know, I said, well, it's not X's and O's, it's Jimmy and Joe's. No, it's both. It is both. And you got to understand that. Did we play smart? Did we coach smart? Okay? And then did we play together? We'll get there. That's all we tell them. That's our team rules. All right? Well, we have 4. Be where you're supposed to be. And they're written down in there in the packet. Be where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be there, doing what you're supposed to be doing. That's your rule. My dumb kid can remember that. All right? When I give him a list of 14 rules, well, did I break 9? You got 1 rule. Hey, it covers everything. Be a tardy to class, bad attitude in class, disrespectful to another teacher. It covers everything. Be where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be there. What you're supposed to be doing. Is that what you're supposed to be doing? No. We have a corollary for behavior. If you think it's the wrong thing, it is. If the little guy on your shoulder said, no, that's the smartest thing to do, then it's not the smartest thing to do, don't do it. That's our rule. Then our other thing is, play hard, play smart, play together. Oh. Okay? And it works for Dean Smith. All right? It's probably a good thing to simplify. Kids can understand that. And then you can point to that. Priorities. Okay? Well, let me finish there. Some of the little, where I pick these things up. I'm a developmentalist, not a behaviorist. Okay? What that means is, in seminary, I got convinced the best way to teach was as a developmentalist. In other words, don't focus just on behaviors. You know, how many saw the movie, What About Bob? Baby steps, right? That's the only thing I want to give it, baby steps, right? If this kid is a jerk, but his baby steps are going in the right direction, I am not going to run him out. I'm not going to ride him. Because you know what? He's going in the right direction. He's developing. We're in the people processing business. All right? And we're in the football business. But we're dealing with high school kids, and we're in the people processing business. And they're in process, and so are we. I remember when I had a kid whose dad got killed by, he's one of my sites there, and I just feel like it's a joke for him. He got killed by gang members. He wasn't my kid then. He went to a different school. He went to a private school. Right? And his dad got killed by gang members. He wasn't in the best, situation. His life wasn't the best support. A lot of things were wrong. He was a pretty good football player. He came to our school, and his brothers struggled to cope with what happened in their family. The only reason he's at our school is because he couldn't afford to go to the other school anymore, because now there was no income. And he got caught smoking pot at the school. So all things better. They said, I need a new start in life. And the principal wrote a letter to CIF, please let this kid be eligible. All right, he's been through hell. All right, he didn't get caught smoking pot. Right. What happened was, one time our dean felt like he was hearing rumors. He brought him to me, he says, Coach, I want you to talk to him. We're hearing this and this. It's not a good thing. So talk to him. Our rule is, or our policy is, not really what our policy is, if you come to us with a problem with alcohol or anything, you don't miss a thing. We're not in the business of doing that. If you will do the right thing, if you'll get in a program. In our school, our front office, I'm talking about being a good place down here, that's part of it. They have programs. We have kids do that. They come up and say, you know what, I think I might actually have a problem. Okay, they'll come up with their dean hooks them in the program, they're in it. They don't miss a game, they don't miss practice. Now, after talking to him, he denied everything. No. Okay, now, you know the situation. You catch it, now you're going to miss a game, and you still got to get in that program. Now, if you don't get in the program, you're done. All right? We didn't kick you off. That's your call, your choice. You make a decision. You quit. We won't try not to kick any. I can't remember kicking this kid off. All right? But now he has to make that decision. And if he makes the right decision, he gets in the program, why would I not want to maybe have just a small, a consequence and not a death penalty? And the reason I say that is because how many of us have been to faculty parties after graduation I'm just talking about at South Hills. For years, they used to get together at Charlie Brown's when it was there, and probably 30% of the people were there at Charlie Brown's were driving home, and if they got pulled over, it was a 502. And a few of them were, I don't know how the hell they got home. I have no clue. How does that guy do that? And it's almost like he's got that car kid, you know. When the address gets him home, all right? And they're telling me I gotta kick this guy out. He can't play. They still got their job. Principal knows they were drunk. And I'm not even going to go into other officials that have been connected. You know, I know of one official that drove through their neighbor's garage and kept his job as principal. All right? But they're telling me I got to run this kid off. His dad got killed by gang members, and we caught him with a pipe, and he broke down. He's got tears, and he's, you know, he's a Hispanic kid, so he's got a kind of, you know, the macho background. Like, I mean, pride, you know, and it's hard. It's hard for him to, and you know, yeah, you know, and I don't want. He didn't want to miss a game, and he quit because he wasn't going. I think he felt I was. Before I had the option of going to the program, he wasn't going to miss anything. And that's what he wanted, because we were playing Covina. This is 1997. We're playing Covina High School. Next game, we need him. He's our starting inside linebacker. He'll eventually be all CIF. We need this guy. He's got to sit. I'm not talking about sitting a kid against, you know, the 0-9 school. And I was hard, because there's, trust me, looking at my shoulder saying, oh, you got to find out a reason here. You know what I mean? You got to find a reason to keep in the game. And I was like, no, I can't, man. I've had too many times. I got to think about the freshmen. And so we sat and he quit. Now this is where it became a good place. You know, talking to me coming back on the team? The principal. The principal. And I'm like 4 times. No. Her little saying is, I'm going to keep giving these kids at this school love until they tell me I don't want it anymore. All right? When they tell me, don't help me, I'll stop helping. Until then, I'm going to help him. And she talked to him and talked to him all that week. And the weekend, he showed up for film Saturday morning after we lost. Second series of the game, we lost our other inside linebacker. Blew on his knee. He was our starting running back. We lose the league championship. We still did well. We second in the league. We go to the playoffs, lost in the quarters, had a good year. But we'll probably have a league championship. All right? And I'll bring it up with the kids. Don't put me in that spot. I don't want to be there. But we're not going to take you out the team. You're going to quit. Now, if we get them in a program, we've never had it happen. All right? Because I found out years later that I had some guys who played pro baseball, played football for me, who did other things, who were smoking rope all the way through the deal, never got caught. I mean, we know there's guys like that, right? So these kids are looking at us. We better have a policy that tells them we're really for you. Now, they'll pick that up. I think it's a huge thing in the program going when they say, I know my coach, my principal is for me. That doesn't mean they're going to give me a cakewalk, but they're for me. You got to know that. That's my philosophy. You will do the right thing, all right, to help yourself. I'm not going to run you out of the program. And where did I get that? Go back to number 1 prayer. That's my background. All right? King David committed murder and adultery. What's God say about King David? Man after my own heart. What? Abraham passes his wife off as his sister because he's afraid. All right? Well, I think we'd all have a little more courage if we had God tell us, you know, I'm going to have all these, you know, speak right to us. Well, okay, I believe the promise, I'm going to roll with it. Uh-oh. When he gets in the situation, he starts to waver. All right? Yet, the man of faith in the letter of the Hebrews. Champion of faith. Peter, whatever. But, you know, you have 2 good examples there. The whole thing. Lord, forgive us our sins as we forgive the sins of others. The way you dish out grace to people is how God says, I will give you grace. Well, you know what? I want to be treated this way because I screw up. I screw up. So there is a way. I want to tell you, it's harder and it's sloppier and it gives you more stress because simple-minded people don't understand it. People who don't want to think hard like to have rules. And, well, we have rules. And I'm not totally against all that. But make your rules few. So now it's easier. There have to be dividing lines. But the more important thing is they have to see your heart. The heart of the matter is almost always a matter of the heart. Now, what does this do with football? When your players, I believe, start to believe that your heart is in them, for them, and their heart's with you. Play hard, they'll play hard. They'll play hard. They just become part of something, and they may not have that. We have an unofficial ministry at at South Hills. 3 to 6 o'clock almost every night. Weight room's open, fly room's open, and it's not the football players, it's anybody. Rolling in, rolling out. Hanging in, watching some video, looking at a book, you know, borrowing a basketball to go down, shoot hoops, borrowing a football to go throw it around, work out in the weight room. And we like it when the non-ball players, kids just want to hang out. But you know what? They don't want to go home. And I'm at a good place. I know some of your schools, there's lots of kids, they want a place to be. And all of a sudden we go, hey, 4 o'clock, get out of here. Go, get off the campus, go. They go, well, they're not really for us. They're a machine. They're a factory, crank us in, crank us out. Somewhere it gets caught. These people are for us. And I really feel you got to find a way. And the way it happens is you got to believe that's important. Once you believe that's important, you'll find little things you do, and you're probably most of you are doing some of those things. Keep doing them. Do more of it. Find something else. Once your kids believe that you're for them, and they'll play hard. First battle, play hard all the time. Little things we say that, but that's a developmentalist system. Take them where they're at. As long as they're taking a baby step in the right direction, keep going. You know, well, you were supposed to take a huge step. You did. Screw it. You're done. That's behaviors. I will go beat on them until they do the right thing. We train animals, right? We educate human beings. Now, when they're little kids, we train them, and we're still training them a little bit. But we got to people in transition. I believe between training and education, because really education is you educate yourself, and we facilitate. You may have heard all that stuff. But we got them sort of in between. There's times when we need to have carrots and sticks, because they just need to learn how to develop good habits. You know, and they need to get bang. Okay, back there. Not a lot wrong. I'm not saying where that is. That's why I say it's sloppy and hard. That's why you pray. Lord, what do I do here? What do I do here? In this case, what do I do here? Look into the kid's heart. And we'll come back to that a little bit. Now, the fun part of it. I really believe this is a good little saying. We picked up on this back in the 90s and we stuck with it. We must play the song we were created to play. Let us not die with our music still in us. You came out for this football team, guys, because something inside you likes to smash things, hit things. You like it. All right, this is you, right? You're not a girl. All this unisex stuff is stupid. You know, mental, sexual, blah, blah, blah. You know, you like to hit things. That's what you are. All right. How many of you have read the book, The Barbarian Way? It's a good book. All right. This guy says, I want to destroy Christianity to save Christianity. We have feminized, the church has feminized men. That's why most of you guys probably don't go. Because you don't feel comfortable there. All right? They want everybody who hugs and says, bless you. You know what? The God of the Old Testament is the God of the New Testament, and he's a warrior God. All right? He's a warrior God, and he wars for good, he wars against evil, and you can use that to get your kids pumped. I really believe that, and that's what we're here for. All right? You were born a man, kid. That's why you want to come out and play football or hockey or whatever it is. Well, guess what? You came to the right place. We want to let you play that music that's in you. Don't die with that music still. How many of us look back at our careers and say, I wish I had cut loose? You know, I didn't. I worried too much. I was thinking about that stuff. That killed my athletic performance. That's what's killing our kids' athletic performance. Let them cut loose and make mistakes. All right? Minimize it. Good decisions, bad decisions. But they got to cut loose. We had a cornerback this year. We time him. Wow, 4, 6, 1. Not pretty good. All right. Okay, scared of it, couldn't tackle a shadow. You know, he just, what it was, we went cutting loose. But I told him, we'll watch Risky Business. You ever watch Risky Business? Sometimes in life, you got to say, you know, you got to get that attitude in you, Carlos. All right, you got to cut loose. You can't worry about me. All right? You man in the glass. You can't worry about me. You can't worry about your dad. You don't have to worry about his dad. Your dad doesn't come to the games. But something in Carlos said he had that song in him, and he wanted to play it, but he couldn't because he had fear of failure, worry about not doing. Coach is going to go, Coach, Carlos, I'm going to scream at you. I do it all the time. You know that. But I had a talk, Carlos, you cannot worry about me. If you could look in the mirror, do the game, you're not busting my ass. All during week, all during practice, I learned their pass routes, I learned their combinations, I did everything, okay? You know what? And I played my butt off, and guess what? Do what St. Paul says. Kick the dust off your boots and move on. It's over. You got to get that in them. It's caught, not taught. You can lay it out 5 points, 6 points. They'll know that you really believe that. You allow them that. All right? And you got to, it's part of the philosophy. You got to get a philosophy that says, I want my kids to feel that comfortable, that I'm going to be there. That there is no capital punishment in this program. I will go back and sit down with my coach and say, Coach, man, screwed up. Alright, screwed up. You got a place here. Alright, and that's talking about the guys who aren't your starters, everybody. Don't pick that. Oh yeah. No. Sure, you want him back. two-way starter. We have guys on our team that, if you watch us warm up, we got some guys out there running around that, oh my God, you want a fun uniform. I'm in a good place though, see? If I go to my district, say, you want me to cut? Oh, no. Wait a minute. I need more helmets. All right? You may not be there. So I can't fix that. I'm in a place where they don't want that. They'll buy the helmets. So we'll have guys, hey, bring them out. So my principal told me that. Both, I don't want you cut. You don't cut anyone. We'll find a way to make it work. We got lockers in our hallway. We get classrooms for football games. All right? So it's not about facilities. We got horse crap facilities. We got worse facilities than everybody in here. All right? We practice in the baseball's outfield. And it's garbage by the time we get there. Our school got built on a junior high grounds. Right? Because the rich people in the hills around there didn't want their kids going with them. Everybody else. You know, and so years ago in the 60s, well, so we had two-story buildings, no grass, nothing, about that. So, but anyways, every man dies, not every man lives. William Wallace, Braveheart. You know, I don't put them on T-shirts. I'm not that. So no one else, that's cool, whatever. But I tell them all the time, man, you got Braveheart. Everybody's seen the kids love that movie. Every man dies. Every man dies. Not every man lives. Don't spend freaking 70 years on planet Earth and not live. You know, punch in and punch out. Never live. You got a chance tonight, guys. Let's live. We played Los Altos this year. They had a number. I mean, the year before, we threw for 399 yards, 381 in the second half. We lose. We can't beat those guys. It's like a mental block. He can beat them. We all the time. But you know, you had those teams where that was our team. We couldn't, you know what? And we said, it ain't happening, not no more. We always played a great half against them. When they had that 1 year in the division when they beat Orange, they're phenomenal. We're up on them at halftime. All right? And we should have been up on 2 touchdowns on them. And we have a pretty good team, but we're up on that second half. Friggin' the wheels come off. They just kick our ass. It's over by the half of the third quarter. Like, oh, God. Hey, running time? You know, can we get out of here? You know? They had our number. We didn't happen. You got to pick that game. We picked that game this year. We tell them we'll play every game. We play one way, play hard. That's all. Just play hard, play a great football game. It comes crunch time. Fourth quarter, what are we supposed to do? Just play a great game. Coach, that's right. Just play a great game. That's all you can do. Because all you can do is all you can do, and all you can do is enough. If we do all we can do, if we do, we walk away, we're happy. But we wanted that one, and that was kind of our attitude. Our attitude was, we're going to live tonight. Every man dies, and everyone lives. We're going to live tonight. We're going to live it to the fullest, and we'll enjoy it. And then went our way this year. But I like that saying from William Wallace. And then another one. We're in football. I don't know. We're in football, guys. This is not cross country. This is not, what's that one in the Olympics? Skating or whatever. When I heard curling, right? When I heard the president like that, I go, like that. Guys from Texas. But Rocky III, great line. Then the worst thing that can happen to a fighter happened. You got civilized. All right? We're not in a civilized sport. You got to tell the guys that what we can do with honor. All right? If you cheat, I heard one coach say, if you're not trying, you're not cheating, you're not trying. No. That's the worst thing. That's philosophically the worst thing I think you can tell a kid. Because they just play that game. All right. I remember coaching a freshman baseball team, and Jason Johnby was on the team, okay? And I don't win the league championship with Jason Johnby, so that's how good a baseball coach I am. I'm in second. But there's another kid on the team, goes up to Stanford, doesn't play any sports, his name's Clay Tellers, great kid, really bright and everything, and I'm always trying to share my philosophy, and we had, you know, freshman baseball, you get an umpire, may not the best in the world, and I talked him into a run. It was an overthrow, I talked him an extra base, he's going in, and I'm kind of like, yeah, all right, pretty good, I'll go around, there's Teller's eyes, like, look at where I am. I believed in you, coach, that's what I was hearing, he was saying, I believe in you, I just like, to ride back the umpire, I think I screwed that up. I mean, this may sound like that guy, our guy's supposed to be back there. This guy's shaking, his parents were all over him, you know, they got behind me, you know, yeah, coach, got behind me. And so we set the guy back to third, and Johnny's old man just arrived.
Freshman.
And I haven't, freshman, you idiot! You know, and we're good friends, and he liked me and stuff, but you idiot! But that was one of the best things I ever done my whole coaching life. All right? And I'm not saying I've probably done stuff like that later, you know, but I'm trying not to. All right? And I tell my kids, I'm not going to do everything right. I'm trying. fine, I'm with you. So another saying I have, stay off the paved roads. All right? It's a 4x4 game. All right? You want to stay on the paved roads, go get something else. This is what you sign up for, play the music. I like to say success is spelled R-I-S-K. And it's not spelled stupid. I'm not saying just, riverboat gambling. But you know what? Don't believe that, and I know he does, because I'm really, I'm serious. I model out what I do after Eric, all right? When I play against the coach again, I wasn't always sure what they're going to do. They had their base, they weren't like flaky, but you know what? Creative things change them, man. Got you on your heels, all right? You got to take some chances. You know, I heard this from a guy named John Wimber, who was my pastor, who was the manager of the Righteous Brothers, all right? He was their manager. He walked away from them. He would go work in a factory because he felt that's what God told him. He's taking some risks. Then he started a Bible study in 1979. There's 1,000 churches around the world now. He's since gone to be with the Lord, but he heard God speaking to him and he took a chance. This is stupid. He did the arrangements on Unchained Melody. That's him. He left all that. Do what he thought he was supposed to do. That's why I say you got to play the song that God put in you. Don't die with your music in you. He'd have died if he'd have stayed with the Righteous Brothers. But he had it made. I remember at his funeral, his son Tim going, we went, Dad, you're an idiot. We got it made. We're going to be rich. He ends up the #1 religious seller in England, 3 bestsellers books. You got it all. I mean, you got to take some chances. Calculate. Not stupid. But I know the game. But I think if you're cautious, you know, back in '99. I got a little bit of 3-3-5, 3-5, all that stuff I know. Back then, I'm like, you know what, we're playing it? I don't know. There wasn't no one talking. I heard anybody. Rocky Long's doing it. No one else did it. You know what? I got to find some stuff on that. I'm not sure. And we didn't put in like game 2 or 3. We just put a little package of it in. And then ever since then, I'm a 2-system believer. We have a 4-3 system. We have that. I believe we'll talk about later. I think it's a little bit. You know what? We took some risks, but all of a sudden, it would create confusion. We got offenses on their heels. That year, you know, now it's not people were talking about how to, but then no one was, so it was different, got them on their heels. Someone else said, you don't really know that. You didn't, get clinical, you didn't get schooled up in it. But football, you can visualize, you can see, get a rule, so we can make this work, we can stay, and we didn't go overboard, we only used it in certain situations. At that time, we only used it on hash marks. We used it to overload the white side of the field. If we found someone had an over white side tendency, we had a lever to pull now. And, if they're running 80% white side, we're always outnumbering them every single time. And then the short side was simply, everything was inside out. We could figure out a philosophy to do that, push everything to the sideline. Now you got an extra guy there, and they don't want to go there anyway, and maybe you figured out they only run these 4 plays into the boundary anyway, so we worked the heck out of those plays. Everything else go wide side, we outnumbered them. It's like playing Canadian football against American football. I think we got a chance to win when we got more guys in the field. All right? But we had to take a chance. There's a little risk there. So I really, really believe that. That's a huge, important thing. You got to be able to do that. And that's also a shot in the arm. We're talking about the S-curve. All right? You can't just, and maybe you have your foundational system, we do, but there comes a time when, we'll do something. Offensively, every game, we believe in a new package. Every game. I used to just be big games, but then my kids got expecting it. And it was like, okay, they're not important. All right, coach. Oh, shit, we got a problem. They don't think they're important. Because on any given night, anyone can do it anyway. And it may just be your one play. Or 2 plays, or your plays at just a different formation. Kids can't expect. We're not wholesale changing everything. But you're going to see something you didn't see before. And we feel it's worth our advantage because some of the guys I've coached over the years are saying, yeah, they're trying to figure out what maybe you might do, right? So you spend enough time on practice field, well, that's good. They spent an hour just trying to figure out what maybe we might do. That means they didn't get to spend another hour on the bread and butter, big rocks. Okay? This is what I want to show you. Last thing, we'll take a break, all right? I don't know if you've ever seen this before. Anybody seen the rocks analogy? All right? So that's done. It's good, all right? If you make the mistake, okay, you got to figure out what your rocks are. Big rocks, okay? Big rock. Oh, yeah. Sometimes it takes a stupid visual, and my kids are working. It's worth it. Big rocks, you could have 4. Those are the big rocks. I think I divide everything into our program into big rocks, stones, and sand. And So we come to an issue, well, what are we gonna do here? Well, what is it? It's sand. All right, let's not spend too much energy on it. Well, you know, another analogy is, picture this out, you have so much energy, and you're gonna, over the course of the year, you're gonna empty it all out. But what are you gonna pour it in? This little shot glass, that little shot glass, or the most, where are you gonna pour your energy? You got so much. Now, how do you win? Well, you work harder, right? So you get a bigger glass, more energy. Yeah, you gotta get our pliers inside this, but you only have so much. And so you gotta figure out what it is you're dealing with, all right? So this is all work this morning, so. Anyways, if you spend your whole time on sand, which like for us this year, spatting with sand, right?
Don't know how true that is.
Before the game, coach. Look at that. Is he playing tonight? We didn't catch it earlier? I ain't dealing with it. Sand. Okay? Deal with one that's sand. Alright? When you hear this guy's telling you what I believe. This guy's telling you, oh, you gotta take care of all those little things, man. That's what, nah. No. It didn't work for me. Alright? That was sand. That doesn't mean it wasn't important, but it was sand that night. Now, Saturday morning, you spat it wrong, you agreed to that, you know, you were supposed to be, you weren't doing what you're supposed to do. Okay, Saturday morning, guess what? You know, you got an opportunity, guess what? You know what? I knew deep down part of you was a cross-country runner. Right? So, you know, it's all cool. We laugh with it and everything like that. You know what? You don't make a big deal about it because it's sand. It's sand. He laughs, but he don't want to run a mile next Saturday. You know, or maybe 2 miles. You know, hey, next week we're making all league cross-country. It's about like that. All right? I guarantee you, man, I'm with you. You keep this up, I'll have your happy ass all state cross-country. All right? And so, but that night, the game, am I going to sit there and blow a cork? Because that young first couple years, I would have. This stuff's important. I can't believe it. Freaking spatting. Boom. Hell, we got to get a first down, coach. I mean, you know, that's in their mind. They know that. So anyway, if you fill your season with your sand first, then there's other stuff. Stones. Can't get the rocks in. You're not going to win without the big rocks. All right? But put the big rocks in, then you work on your stones. Then, the last thing you want to focus on is sand. And you'll find out that if you take care of the big rocks first, get them all in. It's back to fun. You got to figure out what the big rocks are. Your big rocks, or we spattered with green tape, we agreed to black tape, you know, on game night, before the big championship game, so you're going to blow a cork over this, and you know, man, it's sand. And then the coaches will hear me say this stuff, and I'm like, and then they don't oh, agree, that's okay, guess what, I'm the head guy. But it is sand, sorry coach. Okay, we're going to take a 10-minute break, we'll go back to it, I hope that's helpful.